why this one move will help you correct your backswing, help you swing the club correctly, and get the most out of all your golf shots. It's super simple. Follow these steps for better golf shots. So let's think about the structure of your arms as you set up to a golf ball, and then what they're doing is they swing around your golf ball and the effects of your arm structure on the rest of your action. So let's just align some common mistakes that I see with golfers. So number one is we see the capital Y setup, I would call it, because everyone talks about this kind of Y shape, which I think lots of people get slightly wrong. So that is what a capital Y looks like. It kind of comes straight up with two arms coming out either side. This often creates weak grip, poor use of club face, high off to the right, weaker golf shots like that. So where the Y shape has some benefit, if you're using a capital Y, that's not going to help you, which I'm going to show you in a second. Now, the other fault we see is kind of over straight arms with the arms turned in on each other. So the elbows kind of pointing in towards each other, which encourages these kind of very rigid, stuck backswings, where we then see the complete backswings kind of lifts coming in to try and chuck the club over. We see wrist angles really trying to kick in and set the club up to make kind of some backswing. Or the most common one, the arms just give up and they kind of pull in and then bounce back. We don't want either of these. We don't want the capital Y and we don't want the elbows turned in. This is going to create such poor structure in your arms. Let's show you what we do want. Now remember, if you like the information in this video, don't be afraid to subscribe. Weekly videos helping you with your golf like this for free. Also in the description down below, I've got a weekly newsletter, which is, we've got a few giveaway lessons going on in there. There's weekly in-depth golf lessons if you want to go a bit further down the rabbit hole than maybe YouTube offers. Come and join the community. A lot of fun learning going on every week, completely free. So we want lowercase y. So we want the lowercase y where elbow or the lead shoulder down to the hand to the club is more in a straightish line. It won't be bolt straight with each other, but straighter with the trail hand on. So we get this Y shape, but it's more of the lowercase y that you'll see on a keyboard rather than the capital Y, which I see time and time again. Now, just to check if your Y is correct, once you set yourself up, if you just pick the club up a couple of feet and pull your hands in towards you, you're going to find both of your hands should hit lead side of your body, just forward of my tummy button, so forward of my belly button. People always giggle when I say tummy button. If you are the uppercase Y, you're going to find that pulls in right towards the middle of your tummy, right towards your tummy button. So let's just make sure we've got the lowercase y in the setup. So the Y has some benefits. It's just people often only see that straight one. We want that lowercase one. This is the beginning of good arm structure. This is the beginning of being able to build a backswing that allows you to get the downswing more from in to out, if you like, and hit straighter shots, as well as controlling low point. Now we're going to build this backswing around this basic lowercase y setup. So what I want you to do is now with that lowercase y setup, just pick that club again a couple of feet up above the ball. And I want you just to turn this shoulder down, this one up, trying to keep this shape constant throughout your backswing. You're going to find you get stuck with the kind of club stuck out in front of you. So when I look down from here, I'm still seeing that Y shape. I've just moved it from here and I've tried to move it as much as I can just up behind me, up near trail shoulder. Once you're in that position, all I want you to do from here is experience trail wrist, so my right wrist, hinging as much as you can back, which will lay that club back, almost pointing off to the left and set that backswing a little more. So this trail wrist extension, so bending it back, is what's going to allow you to build a backswing where you don't want to use too much of this, which is a really common problem with amateurs, but we're actually using that Y shape, that lowercase y, and adding trail wrist extension. It's going to give you good club face control as well as great club path control. It's going to be this simple. So I'm just going to do it again. It's always good to do the right way and the wrong way. So we've done the right way where you keep that Y shape and then you just extend trail wrist, the set. What I want you to do from here now is just let trail elbow really bend and let it get up behind you. See how my elbow wants to go out. See how the club and hands get really close to me on the way back. It's one of the most common backswings when people aren't extending this arm and using trail wrist more. Another problem we see people do with this one is they simply use a lot of wrist extension. to really feel like you're hinging those wrist loads. So this way as you do it. So from here, from your Y, just start hinging your wrists. And again, what you're going to see is that the lead wrist tends to cup a little bit. This tends to open the club face. You're going to find you set a good backswing position that looks good in certain kind of screens on certain cameras, but it's going to encourage these kind of downswings. Again, we want that Y shape. Let's confirm better and just extend trail wrist. That's going to allow us to start getting the club down now more from here. So 2 thoughts, the lowercase y and the trail wrist extension. Linking them two together on your backswing is going to build so much more control. And think about how simple that move is. It's really, really basic. It's 2 basic little movements. One is set, the setup, and you just turn it up there. The second one, you just gradually keep extending that trail wrist almost as far as you can before any club or hands start coming off the club. Now let's just push this up a little level. I'm going to now get up to the top, extend that wrist. If you've got a temptation when you do this, to do this with your arm, so you feel like you get to a certain position and then you just want to let that arm, see how the elbow starts going out, almost goes up, so I'm lifting it with my trail arm, and then you find that the club starts kind of pointing at the target, maybe even starting going over here. This is good for people who find that they go here and flip, which is something we'd want to get rid of. Also, other decisions from here is to really get going this way. So if your trail elbow isn't going this way on the way back, it's actually starting to go this way, then that is where this drill again, lowercase y, turn it up there, don't add any wrists in, just keep everything like it was in that Y shape, and then extend trail wrist. Will get you tucking trail elbow in, get you basically moving trail elbow this way, which is one of the key differences between amateurs and a lot of good ball strikers. Let's think about the way down now. What happens? We've got it up there. We want to try and get it back down. And this is where I want you to keep trying to think of this lower case Y shape. So what I'm going to do to start is I'm just going to take it up there, stay in my lowercase Y. I can see it here. Trail elbow is kind of comfortably straight, little bent. Lead arm is comfortably straight, little bent. I've not added the extension in. And then from here, I'm just going to turn back down and come through. Look what we see down at the bottom. We're starting to see that Y again. If you're someone who wants to break this shape down, you're going to be one of these hitters or one of these hitters. People who really struggle to control that low point. You're going to hit tops. You're going to hit horrible thin iron shots, maybe flats, because you're starting to do this or this, which foreshortens often the swing arc. And then what happens is to get the club down, you start digging at it with your body. And now we've got so many moving parts going on, broken down that Y shape, and we're kind of trying to dig it out, and it's just, no, it crashes. It's horrible stuff. Lowercase y, and then try and return there. You can even just chip a few out there, literally just try and chip a few out there, trying to hit shots halfway, 60 yards through the air, tiny little pitch shots, no real speed. Don't feel like you're putting that trail wrist extension in yet. Just get the idea of that Y going back and getting back to the beginning with some body turns and tilts. And what you're going to find is your low point control, so how that club interacts with the ground, starts to become really consistent, giving you consistent strikes, giving you that ball, then turf, consistent iron strikes. So many of you are desiring, hitting it more like the tour pros. When you're confident you can feel that Y shape, you can start adding in that trail wrist extension. See how I just let that club set back with that trail wrist basically going that way. Then what you're going to start to feel is you actually start putting in a bit more speed. You'll start getting your fuller shots. You're probably going to find you start getting bigger shots than what you're used to, because you're going to create more speed if you make a backswing that creates more space with your arms, allows your arms to get as far away from you as possible within reason, not too far, but rather than bouncing it in here and then bringing it close, which is just going to shorten everything. So not only shorten this, meaning hitting the ball is going to be tough, but it shortens how big of a movement you're making. You think about, I'm going to throw the ball, I'm going to really extend and extend through. I'm not going to do it from in here or pull my arm here and try and chuck it. This isn't going to go anywhere. So what we find with students when we do this is their backswing gets much better structure. They get further distance without feeling like they're having to hit harder, and they get consistent strikes, which also equals more distance, because consistently hitting the ball the same distance is better than hitting 179, 150, then 140 yards. Your average distance is going to be rubbish, isn't it? They're consistently hitting it 140, 150, 160, so that overall distance gets better, not only through the stretch, so less of this, more of this, and out, but also from that consistency of hit. Remember to build it up as well. Just do the Y shape, pitch it forward, maybe do 3, 5 little Y pitches, and then bring that trail hand extension in for the last 2. 5 where you do the little pitch of the Y shape, so Y to Y, and then try and put in the trail wrist extension as well. Add some more realistic shots in there. Now, one little key feeling that people say when we do this is they feel like their trail wrist is pushing away from them on the backswing. So that's quite a good way to know if you've done it correct or not. So if I'm someone who buries my arm in, my trail wrist isn't really pushing away, I could push that way further away. If you're someone who uses a lot of wrist extension, so lead wrist extending more, I should say, so this way, and feeling like you're hinging it lows to set it up there, again, what happens is everything gets quite close. So again, not much space. You want to feel like the back of your palm, so as I look at the back or the front of your palm, is pushing out away. This is what's going to allow you to get that shape, to bring the club down this way rather than being here, so not really extending this, bending this, and then pulling on it, which you can see where that's going. We don't want that. So that's a key little hack to feel. So again, you could do your Y shape, and then from here, push the back of your hand away from your trail shoulder. Really feel like you're getting that extension by going out this way, which will straighten that trail arm. Honestly, the ball, I'm even practicing this at the minute, and it's transforming the way I hit it. It feels very strange at the start, but I'm hitting a lot like that, which are going way longer than normal and nearly hitting the line. If this helps, use my driver ideas in this video, which are kind of along the same ideas, to maximize what you're doing with that for minimum effort.